Hello, just reading The Republic by Plato. This is basically the first time I've picked it up. I might have briefly looked in it momentarily. What have we got in the content? Politics in Plato's world. The Republic. How about I get my laptop from over yonder? And have a little look. Sometimes I just like a little brief summary to like sort of give me sort of a vague entry point into books. This is my thing. You know, like you've got like this infinite resource that is the internet. I'm kind of like, why would I spend money on books? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just you know, like in terms of like frugal practice of money, like not so much in the sense that books aren't valuable. Like I do feel like there is something, yeah, obviously not, I don't know, like you just can get so, you can extract, like I literally sourced, like I was trying to figure out which page a certain quote was on in like Aldous Huxley's Doors of Perception or Heaven and Hell, and like I was like trying to find this specific quote from the book, and I couldn't find it manually, and so I like freaking, I know, I find this really interesting from an intellectual property perspective, like or like copyright or whatever, like just like in terms of how does that operate, like in the sort of space that we are in now with technology and knowledge and stuff, and like, and then also what's the trajectory of that looking like. And I guess this probably maybe goes into the conversation of regulation, like AI regulation and stuff, but like I don't know, like I am kind of a little bit, I don't have enough, like I don't know enough to have really strong opinions in the space, but I do tilt a little bit to the accelerationists, or like, you know, like I'm not super like you know, like I don't know, like I think over-regulation does sound a bit bad in terms of like actually, you know, being able to like kind of understand the AI thing. Like I really do not know anything about the topic of it all. Like I've just listened to smart people who are in the field talk about it. Like I've listened to them a fair amount, but you know, like I'm below a novice. Like I'm, you know, like I'm just someone interested in the topic, and I also just feel like as a citizen, I think it's actually kind of unwise at this point to like not kind of engage in some kind of sort of conversation, or like just like cultural conversation about AI and technology and stuff, just because it is, I mean, it is already kind of having really significant changes in our world, and it's only going to get more, I would say, like really significantly, you know, and I mean, you could to point to an extreme point, or an extreme data point in all the sort of possibilities that there are, but like, you know, like sex robots, or robots in a sexual or romantic way, like, yeah, like the emergence of that in culture, like that's gonna disrupt so much. Like that's really gonna change things up. I don't know, just even just like robots in general, like it's just fascinating to think about. Like just the whole, I'm just genuinely fascinated. Like I'm really interested in the subject. Like I feel like this is one of the fields like I would love to become. I mean, just, you know, amongst. I would actually really like to be in it, and like doing stuff in it or whatever. Like it interests me that much. And I didn't really know that, like, until, like, super recently, probably, like, or I would definitely, I mean, obviously, it's just become more of a thing in culture, but, like, you know, like, I didn't know about any of this stuff, like, until, like, recently, and I would guess that it probably goes the same for, like, a lot of people in the world, Anyway, like, yeah, so it's kind of like, man, it's just all happened so like overnight to, you know, sort of the everyday citizen, like all this AI stuff, like, but you know, like maybe like all the tech people in the field, like, you know, like, but even I think for them, it's kind of like the amount of progress that's kind of happened in the recent years has been kind of shocking or profound or whatever. So yeah, it's really fascinating. I just find the whole thing fascinating. What have we got here? The Republic. Yeah. So contents, introduction, further reading, notes on translation, translator's acknowledgement, introduction, prelude, the conventional view of justice developed. Interesting. Now, Plato was before Christ, right? Or was it Aristotle? Or both of them? Yeah. Plato lived and died centuries before the birth of Christ. I looked that up because Christ and Christianity sort of considers themselves, or like the sort of foundation of morality, which I find deeply interesting, and also I do feel like it contends or competes in the space of morals and ethics, and yeah, and like morality is like just like an entire subject. But you know, like here, like it's interesting to think about that, like in the space of history. You know, like I don't know, something the Bible says like nobody was, like God says nobody was good on earth or some shit, like Bible God saying everyone was bad. What does he say? The Bible describes God as having certain actions, attitudes, and behaviors as bad. No, but like there's like a specific thing where he's like, everyone here was bad or some shit. God saying there was no one good, or some shit like that. None is righteous, no, not one. Not one understands, no one seeks for God. All have turned aside. There is no one who does good, not even one. I don't know, if that's what I'm looking for right now. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, no, maybe it is this. Romans 3. The fool, this is Psalm 14, 1, 3. The fool says in his heart, there is no God, they are corrupt, their acts are vile, there is no one who does good. The Lord looks down upon heaven, upon the sons of men, to see if any understand, if any seek God. All have turned away, they have together become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. And anyway, I don't know, like, I don't know, when was the Psalms written? Roughly between 14 BC and time of Moses. Compared to Plato. So Plato kind of came a little bit after Moses or some shit. I don't fucking know, bro. Yeah, like, because I guess where I get interested in or where, like, I don't know the history well enough to, like, personally sort of intellectually roll out, or, like, like understanding Western civilization, and then, like, Christianity and Western civilization, and, like, like, there's various people who kind of sit on different, like, there's different perspectives on that, but, like, there is a lot of sort of thought that, like, Western civilization is sort of derived from Christian principles, like, and I don't know enough to be like, no, I fully disagree with that, but I have heard people who do, or who do suggest, like Alex Connor's, like, I don't think that's entirely maybe fair to be total about. Like, it's all like Sam Harris, things like this. But even like the likes of Douglas Murray, who isn't actually a Christian, he says, like, there are people who could appreciate that Western civilization has sort of come from Christian society or Christian vibes, like, without actually being a full-blown Christian themselves, kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, like Plato is an interesting person because, like, he was before Christ, like, and I feel like Western civilization kind of, like Plato's Republic and Western civilization. Plato's Republic is the foundational text of Western philosophy. So, like, that's interesting. Shaping 2,400 years of political theory, ethics, and education by introducing the concept of an ideal, just society ruled by reason. It established that the tradition of political idealism profoundly influencing Christian theology, Western thought, and modern concepts of statecraft. Core contributions and impact: idealism over practicality, the philosopher king. I don't know, this is just AI generalization or summarization. Yeah. I don't know. Plato, Western civilization, and Christianity. Plato's Republic is a cornerstone of Western civilization that profoundly influenced Christian theology despite originating from Greek pagan philosophy. See, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It addresses, especially in the space of, like, morality and things like that, it addresses fundamental questions on justice, the soul, and an ideal society, which earlier Christian thinkers, particularly St. Augustine, adapted by interpreting Platonic forms as God's thoughts. Key connections and distinctions between Plato's Republic and Christianity include philosophical alignment, the ideal state versus city of God, metaphysics versus revelation, influence, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, should we read? What else is in here? First principles, civilized society. Should we maybe go to that one? The first principles of social organization. Education, the first stage. Education, secondary or literary education, the need for suitable literature, current literature, unsuitable, theologically, morally. Woman and the family, the status of woman, married to the family, the rules of war. Interesting. Woman and the family, the state and the individual. Interesting, bro. Alright, that's enough.